the first time on this channel, I am going to be doing an entire video not about NASCAR. We're gonna go talk about IndyCar, because that Indy 500 was amazing. I know I mentioned I'll touch up on Formula 1, I'll touch up on the O'Reilly and Truck Series races. Maybe towards the end, I'll do a little recap on those, but the Indy 500 stole the show this weekend. Closest finish in Indianapolis 500 history, in which Felix Rosenqvist, driving for Meyershank Racing, I believe, I'm still learning IndyCar, barely beats Penske Racing's David Malukas. The margin of victory was 0.0233 seconds, basically 2/100ths of a second. The closest finish ever in the Indianapolis 500. Felix Rosenqvist, only his second career win. A crowd of over 350,000 people watching. That was easily the best IndyCar finish I've ever seen. Let's just go over this thing. There's so much to unpack here. The vibes of the Indianapolis 500 are immaculate. Let's just go over that last lap. Why don't we? Restart. 1 lap to go. Marcus Armstrong, Felix Rosenqvist's teammate, gets the jump in the lead, but he's basically a sitting duck. David Malukas gets the draft, pulls out, makes a move right here. Then Felix Rosenqvist, daring around the outside, actually makes a little bit of contact with Armstrong. Around the outside is ballsy at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Malukas tries to pull away. Usually you would think, oh, the two cars behind him are side by side fighting each other. Malukas got this in the bag. But these two cats right here, they're making it work. Here comes Pato O'Ward with a massive run. Nowhere to go, though. And still, Rosenqvist, balls of steel around the outside. Malukas is like, oh, crap. And then right here, Rosenqvist clears his teammate. He sets sail. He's got the draft right now. Malukas tries to break it. Rosenqvist follows and pulls out last second. Oh, it's going to be... Look at this. Oh, my God, bro. Ridiculous. I still can't get over that. That's how close it was. Felix Rosenqvist comes out on top. You can thank the 1 lap to go restart for that, but the whole race was so fun. I believe out of every single Indy 500 in history, this had like at least the second most lead changes. I think 2013 still holds the candle for the most lead changes in a singular Indianapolis 500, but I could be wrong. I think this race was number 2. Ironically, the previous record holder for the closest Indianapolis 500 finish was 2006. 20 years later, they replicate it in even better fashion. Felix Rosenqvist, only his second win ever. Obviously, his name will be now written in the history books. But dang, David Malukas, bro. He had this race on lock, it seemed like. If there was no pit strategies towards the end, it looked like Rosenqvist was going to win. But of the guys on the main strategy, Malukas was like the best car. It looked like Malukas had it, but the pit strategies played out. It looked like Rosenqvist was going to get it for a little bit. Pato O'Ward was up there too, but Rosenqvist was pulling away. The caution with a handful of laps to go for this wreck caused a couple restarts towards the end. Malukas got the lead. He lost the lead, got it back, lost it. I feel so bad for David Malukas. Young driver, he's going to get his first IndyCar win one day. You saw how much passion he had, man. Bawling his eyes out post-race. Bawling his eyes out. Such a nice kid. Ironically, I made a video a couple months ago about the whole Daniel Dye situation when Daniel Dye was making fun of David Malukas, and that kind of like kick-started me becoming a fan of David Malukas. Malukas is my clear-cut favorite IndyCar driver. He's young. He's passionate. I threw $10 down on him to win this race, and I would have won $75, and he came that close to winning it. Dang. But the finish was so good, it's fine. He also drives a red car. I like red cars. I like red. It's my favorite color. So, Malukas, that first win is coming. The whole race was just awesome. If you remember last year's Indy 500, that easily was like the worst Indy 500 over the span of the last like 5-7 years. The rain delays postponing the start. Scott McLaughlin wrecking by himself before the race even started. A huge Kyle Larson fan right here, having to see him fail the double 2 years in a row. I still hear all the time, greatest race car driver in the world. Not to mention that finish was so bad, having those 2 lap down cars just pull Alex Palou along. No challenge from behind, because you really can't pass the leader very consistently if there's lap cars pulling him ahead. That's why I love Indy and these high-speed ovals in Indy cars, because the leader is constantly swapping, because the leader is always going to be a sitting duck because of how big the hole is these guys punch in the air. However, last year's finish, when you had the 2 lap cars basically punching that hole for the leader, I think second place was I believe it was Marcus Ericsson. He couldn't get to Palou no matter how hard he tried. But luckily this year with the late race restarts, there was no lap cars in the way. The whole race, though, constant swapping for the lead. Connor Daly led laps. Scott McLaughlin had a great redemption from last year's. I think he finished 3rd. Popular Joseph Newgarden wrecks by himself. You don't really see that every day, that Joseph Newgarden, the Oval King, on a restart too. They weren't even up to speed yet. Catherine Legg tried the double, obviously I mentioned before in my last video. Unfortunately, she wrecked out early. Not really her fault. Ryan Hunter-Reay, of all people, a previous Indy 500 winner, spins out right in front of her, and she had nowhere to go. She cared more about his safety, so she sacrificed her own safety by just cutting the car left. But what are you going to do in that situation? IndyCar on these high-speed ovals is the best version of IndyCar. We'll die on that hill. IndyCar on these high-speed ovals. The way these cars just cut through the air, 220, 230, even sometimes 240, depending on the situation. These guys are flying. I know it's super dangerous, and I know back in the day, in the 2000s and the 90s, when they had a lot of these high-speed ovals, people were getting hospitalized. People were even getting killed because it's dangerous. I just wish there was at least one more big super speedway on the IndyCar schedule, because this racing is peak. It's so good. The commentary booth for this race is amazing. I wish Fox cared about NASCAR as much as they care about IndyCar. Let's go over some of the finishes, though, why don't we? For IndyCar for the first time. Wow. Felix Rosenqvist wins his first Indy 500, second win of his career. David Malukas, 30 laps led. Unfortunately, came up just a little bit short. Scotty Mack, big redemption from last year's. Finishes a solid 3rd place. Honestly, 3rd through 5th all finished the race side by side. 3 wide battle for 3rd coming to the line. Pato O'Ward, he finishes top 5, it seems like, every single year in the Indy 500. 4th place. Marcus Armstrong. Again, on these late race restarts, the one issue is that the leader is going to always be a sitting duck, and that's what happened to him. He was in the lead. Everyone just gets the slipstream, blows by him once you lose that momentum. And then it didn't help that off turn 4, his teammate powered around the outside, lost that speed, lost 2 more spots. Rinus VeeKay, solid 6th place. Alex Palou is interesting because he did finish 7th. He was your pole sitter. I believe he's the points leader. When is he not? But he did get a pretty big penalty at the end of this race. He was fined $10,000 and 5 championship points. Wow, he's really, really out of championship contention now. He had a front wing assembly error. 5 points is pretty much nothing for Alex Palou. I'm pretty sure he still is the points leader. He had a great race, though. He's good everywhere, man, Alex Palou. But this penalty will definitely be a bit of a setback, but really $10,000 and 5 points is not a very big penalty, whatsoever. Santino Ferrucci always seems to get a top 10 in this race. What do you know? Another top 10, 8th place. Romain Grosjean, his number 18 Dale Coy Racing car, was using the Kyle Busch number 18 font. That was very nice. He actually almost took the lead for a minute. That would have been nice to see him paying tribute to the late Kyle Busch, leading the race in his old 18. Speaking of Kyle Busch, on lap 18 for this race, they had a silent lap 18. That was very nice. They had his picture on the pylon. I love how much the racing world is doing for Kyle Busch after he passed away. It was a really weird weekend. Just all the tributes. It still has not really came to me that he's dead. I'm shaken up. But I love all the tributes people are doing. I love this series because to me it's a perfect blend between the chaotic unpredictability and sometimes gimmicky nature of NASCAR and the strict, they'll give you a penalty for anything world of Formula One. It's a good medium. There's no stages in this, just straight up 200 laps. It allows for pit strategy to occur. And we had all those leaders like Malukas and Palou, McLaughlin have the main strategy. The strategy we all thought was going to be the winning strategy. But then Felix Rosenqvist and Pato O'Ward did a different strategy. They pit later, they were off sequence, and we all thought if that race went green all the way, one or even both would run out of gas. It could have happened. We'll never know. Luckily, the cautions helped them save gas, but it was intriguing. Like, are they going to make it to the end? We have no idea. Those guys with the fresher tires, despite having enough gas to make it to the end, they're not going to catch them. So if they don't run out of gas, Felix Rosenqvist is going to pull off this win. The caution came out, though. Luckily, he was able to save fuel under those two cautions. It ultimately didn't matter, but I like how the strategy always comes into play in these races. With stage racing in NASCAR, it kind of ruins strategy-based racing. Sure, we get like 2 tire stops and like no tire stops, but when it comes down to like fuel mileage finishes, they have significantly decreased since stage racing became a thing. Because having the guaranteed cautions at the certain times, people can like, say, take a race at Kansas. Stage 2's over, right? You can pit one more time and make it to the end. It's guaranteed caution. You know when the caution's coming out, you can prepare. With no guaranteed cautions at Indianapolis, in the Indy 500, it allows these strategies to come about naturally. Which is why I love IndyCar. The only real downside to this race, in my opinion, was there was a bit of weather. There was like one segment, like lap 92, a caution came out for Will Power spinning on the exit of pit road due to a blown motor. They didn't restart again till like lap 109. They ran like 16 laps under caution to clean the fluid. They had to clean the fluid off the track. Some sprinkles started coming down. And then right after that, another caution happened. And another like 10, 15 laps went by because the rain was like drizzling. I know they wanted to keep the cars running to like keep the track relatively dry, not lose the track completely, or in case the rain stops, which it did. But they spent like nearly 30 laps in that little segment just under caution. IndyCar, there's no overtime. It's 200 laps, take it or leave it. Every lap matters, so all those laps under caution takes away the ability for some of these drivers to make moves and decreases the amount of racing they're actually doing, but I understand it because they're trying to keep the track dry. Weather was a lot this weekend. Every single like race to some degree. I believe even Formula One in Canada had some weather issues. But wow. I wish we had more high-speed ovals. I really wish we did. I love IndyCar. It's great. It's so much fun. So much fun. I love how seriously the broadcast takes it, the fans take it. People respect IndyCar. As a diehard NASCAR fan, I feel like the general public doesn't really respect NASCAR as much as they should. Just thinking it's guys going in circles. People seem to respect IndyCar a lot. Congratulations, Felix Rosenqvist. David Malukas, your day will come. And that's the Indy 500. Easily one of the best ever. But the sweetest part about it is that it completely made up for the disaster that was last year's. Last year's Indy 500 was buns. Unless you're an Alex Palou fan. This year was an upgrade in every single way. And literally, this was the best finish ever. Those are my thoughts on this year's Indy 500. Such a good race, dude. I am Jake, Mayan Motorsports, and I hope you enjoyed my first IndyCar review. I'm now going to watch the rest of this Yankee game. They are up 9-0, bottom 3. Cam Schlittler is the GOAT. He's the GOAT. Have a good day.